Hello everyone, Jonathan Pulley here with West Coast Weather. Today is September 8th, and we're going to talk about the smoke that's over the region right now. This looks to start clearing out later tomorrow as these westerly winds from an approaching trough of low pressure start to clear out that smoke and push them eastward. There is some isolated thunderstorm activity out over northeastern Oregon and southeastern Washington. There is a red flag warning out there for the potential for some new fire starts and also some more aggressive fire growth as we get some gusty winds from those thunderstorms. After the smoke clears out, we'll get this trough of low pressure will enter into the Pacific Northwest region and will bring some rain and rain showers as we go through the first half of this week. Not a ton of rain expected with this, but some of the Oregon Cascades and the parts of the coastal mountains could get up towards a half an inch to an inch of rainfall, as some models are showing. Generally up towards Vancouver, BC, and up towards Seattle, maybe we'll get a couple tenths of an inch of rain at most, but we'll take what we can get this time of the year as we're just starting to enter into fall. Another trough of low pressure looks to enter the region later this week for more showers as well. Later after that, into the more extended period, there is potential for more troughing after that, but also some show some ridging coming back in. So we're gonna have to just continue to look at that as we go. That'd be towards next week and the early next the following week after this coming week. So there's still plenty of time to look at that, and we'll look at that in the next video. But for now, I hope everyone's having a great day, and let's get right into the forecast. Now looking at the general ridge and trough positions on the European model, here's Alaska up here, British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, California down here. You can see our ridge that's kind of been protecting us over the last few days also brung us a heat wave a few days ago. It got really warm. I was out camping on the coast, and Forks got the 97 degrees while I was there, and that was way too warm for me. But that is starting to move out of the area, and we got this trough of low pressure that's starting to come down the BC coastline and the Gulf of Alaska. And you can see as we go, that trough kind of moves out, but that allows for some room for another trough to come down. This will be a more potent trough that starts moving into the area on Tuesday, bring with it some rain and rain showers. Most of it will be in the shower form, as it's not a really strong trough and it's forming pretty quickly, so it's not having a lot of time to pick up a bunch of moisture. But a surface low will also form off the coastline, which is one of the first surface lows that we've seen for quite some time. So definitely getting towards that fall time of the year. But you can see this trough kind of remains over the region as we go through Wednesday and the Thursday. Continues that cooler weather with some showers remaining over parts of the region through the middle part of next week. But then, as we see now, a large break until we get onto Friday, where another trough of low pressure is starting to form and moving in a very similar direction, a bit farther south and a bit weaker than the other trough, but will bring some more chances of showers and will bring cooler weather through next weekend. Most models are in pretty good agreement, even though this is about 6-7 days out, and even they're pretty good out to the 9-day range. And models show potential for another trough sliding down this really strong ridge that forms over the Gulf of Alaska. This is kind of more of a La Niña pattern, which it could be influenced by La Niña, but we actually are in neutral territory right now, so that could be affecting it. But most of the time, there's other variations in the weather patterns that can cause similar patterns that we see during other like El Nino or La Nina years. But it looks like another trough moving down early next week, but we'll continue to keep an eye on that as we go. Now looking at the 6-hour precipitation type and inches. This is a closer look at things. Here's British Columbia, up here, Washington, Oregon, California. Mostly dry today and tomorrow, but there's going to be some isolated thunderstorm activity over parts of northeastern and Oregon and southeastern Washington into the Idaho area. Maybe some new fire starts with that, but not crazy activity. But as we go through the dry Monday and into Tuesday, later Tuesday evening, the rain will start moving in onto the coast, and you can see our surface low around 1,004 millibars. Not really that much that I go to talk home about, but it's still early in the fall season. So, but you can see quite a bit of rainfall actually falling from parts of the mountains, especially Oregon, where that main slug of moisture is going into. But even Vancouver, BC, maybe might get clipped by maybe a tenth or 2 tenths of an inch of rain. So, But you can see some of those showers remain as some of that onshore flow still flows that moisture into the mountains as we go through Wednesday night and the Thursday. But most of the rain in the Pacific Northwest should clear out by Thursday evening, with the main surface low starting to go into Montana. But then as we go through the weekend, this is Friday afternoon, mainly dry most of Friday. Maybe some showers starting to enter the area later Friday into Saturday morning as this next trough of low pressure, but there's not going to be a ton of moisture to work with this system. So maybe just some isolated showers for those couple of days around Friday evening through Saturday and Sunday. But the European model is showing a good bit of dry weather on Sunday. So not really a big deluge. But if we go to the GFS model, for next week, it's very similar as well, with maybe some scattered rain showers, with maybe another system that next week after that. Now looking at the precipitation totals from this next system as we go through Friday, you can see some moderate precipitation amounts for parts of the Pacific Northwest, mainly just a couple tenths of an inch for Western Washington. Except when you get down to southwestern Washington, you may start getting some totals over a half inch towards an inch of rainfall around this coastal mountain ranges around the Columbia River right there, going out towards Astoria. You can also see some of the Cascades and the valley locations maybe picking up towards an inch of rainfall. There's a bunch of rain potentially coming to parts of Montana and southern Alberta, Canada, and parts of the Idaho Panhandle, as well as that upper level as that surface low continues to move off to the east. But we'll take anything we get this time of the year. Now looking at the HRRR, this is this vertically integrated smoke map. So this is showing that heavier band of smoke that we saw on the satellite. But watch as it's already starting to move east, and by Monday morning, the Monday afternoon, this is Monday around 5 p.m. You can see almost all the smoke cleared out except right around the fires and for parts of eastern Oregon and Idaho. But most of the region should start clearing out, and the fire activity also looks to calm down by Tuesday as that upper level low comes and brings some more moisture and clouds to the region, suppressing that fire activity. I'm hoping we can start getting some good rainstorms into here over the next few weeks, so we can get the rest of these fires that are still burning out of the story. Now looking at the European model visibility, this is kind of just showing where potential for some fog formation or where the clear weather is. You can see the visibility where it's sunny in Northern California, the visibility is going to be over 30 miles, but then over parts of the Puget Sound and along the West Coast, there's some fog that's reducing visibility below a mile and a half a mile. So over the next couple of days, as that ridge remains over the area, there's going to be potential for some fog over parts of Western Washington, especially right along the Puget Sound and right along the coastline. But that should end by Tuesday evening and should burn off each of the afternoons. But Monday morning and Tuesday morning will likely have some fog in places. But then you can see the lower visibility because of the rainfall. But generally, the rain is not going to be that heavy and will only reduce the visibility to maybe down to a couple miles. So nothing really to write home about that. Here's the 10-meter wind gusts for the European model, mainly just some breezy winds, especially over the Columbia Basin, maybe some active fire conditions potentially before our system brings that moisture and clouds into the region. You can see the surface will have some gusty winds, maybe up to 30 miles per hour, and maybe some offshore, maybe some gusts up to 40 miles per hour, but those will mainly just generate some swell, some elevated wave action along parts of the coastline, so not too impressive. Now, like at the National Blended Models, this is daily max 2-meter temperatures. So the high temperatures, you can see as the ridge starts dwindling, the temperatures will start to go down, with even the Columbia Basin starting to drop into the upper 60s, the low 70s on Wednesday as that clouds and precipitation move in. Even Seattle and Portland dropping down to the middle 60s for high temperatures. But we start looking to rebound a bit as that trough starts moving out of the area, but we'll start dropping again next weekend as the next trough moves through. Some quite moderate temperatures moving in, but you can see for the next couple of days, still going to be up into the hundreds and the 90s for much of California. Now looking at a nice graph from the National Weather Service at Pendleton, Oregon, also showing that potential for those isolated scattered thunderstorms today through Sunday, through later tonight, and you can see that that's why they have those red flag warnings out. And Cloud to ground lightning strikes and erratic gusty outflow winds are anticipated with thunderstorms and may result in some new fire starts. So watch out if you're out there for that. The 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center for September 14th through 18th shows below average temperatures for the West Coast as that troughing moves in the region. Also some above average to near normal precipitation for much of the western United States as well with that troughing. The 8 to 14 day temperature outlook for September 16th through the 22nd shows below average temperatures remaining with above average precipitation being highlighted, as well as some of that troughing remains, but there's some disagreement in the models as we get towards that 14-day time period, so we'll continue to look at that. Now looking at the 3 to 4 week outlook, you can see this is for late September into the first week of October. This is 21st through October 4th. You can see around normal temperatures predicted with above average precipitation expected for the Pacific Northwest, really highlighted. So that they're just showing the potential for some troughing and maybe our first fall storms that start arriving in late September to early October, which is to be expected this time of the year as we get farther into the beginning of fall. Now looking at the La Niña outlook for later this fall and the winter, we were talking about a few months ago how there was potential for a strong La Niña, but the chances for a strong La Niña are kind of dwindling. So we're looking to get into maybe a weak to moderate La Niña, which actually tends to bring more storminess than strong La Niñas, which is kind of interesting. But that's just how it is. But you can see they're highlighting about 50 to 70% chance, up towards an 80% chance by November for La Niña. We're really close. We're right on the edge of becoming a La Niña, and we'll likely get into La Niña territory by later this month or in October. And you can see that the models are generally starting to go towards a more of a moderate, weak to moderate La Niña through this fall season, also into the wintertime. So this might elevate the potential for some wintry conditions and also heighten our storm chances, but nothing's a guarantee, as well as every La Niña is going to act differently than the other one for past years. So, but generally it increases our chances for above average storms and above average chances for colder weather and snowy weather for the Pacific Northwest. Now looking at the European seasonal model, this is looking at sea surface temperatures. So generally, when we're looking for La Niña, it's this area of waters right along the equatorial Pacific Ocean coming off of South America. You can see that this was the August model run. It only runs once a month, so it collects data for the entire month. And this is the new September outlook. You can see that the August one hardly even had us getting to a La Niña at any time of this year, and even potentially not even getting the La Niña all the way through the winter time. But the new one has with new data shows the potential for even a moderate La Niña as we go through later into November and December. So that definitely heightens our chances of cooler and wetter weather as we go through later in the fall and winter. But this is just something to look at as we go. So really isn't a guarantee that we get cooler and wetter weather, but it also increases our chances as well. So that's kind of a cool thing to look at as we get into the winter season. Well, everyone, that's it for this video. I hope everybody found this video informative and enjoyable. Thankfully, most of the smoke will be moving out by tomorrow morning as those westerly winds pick up. Some rain showers and rain expected for later Tuesday through Thursday for much of the Pacific Northwest. A couple tenths of an inch of rainfall potential for some of the northern areas of western Washington, southwest British Columbia. Oregon is likely to get more rain with a half inch to maybe an inch of rainfall potentially for some of those mountainous locations and the valleys over there. Another trough looks to drop down over the area later next week and in the next weekend for the more cooler weather and potential for another few showers moving through. It looks like La Nina is going to be coming later this fall and into the winter season, which may bring us the potential for some more active storm patterns and potential for cooler weather. But that's just going to be something that we're going to have to continue to watch as we go later into fall. I hope everybody's having a great day. Please like and subscribe to this video if you're finding these videos enjoyable and informative. Just helps the channel out and helps my videos get pushed out to more people. And I hope everybody has a great rest of their day, and I'll talk to everybody in the next video.